The story of what happened to me has spread through the whole countryside where I lived many years ago. In fact, it has spread much further than that. It has reached many lands. You too probably have heard of me. I am Jairus. At that time, I was the president of the synagogue, well respected by everyone. But then something terrible happened. My daughter, whom I loved very much, became sick. So sick that it was near death. I knew that medicines could not help her anymore. But I had an idea. Like all the other people, I had heard of that man, Jesus of Nazareth, who had a special healing power. I was also aware that our leaders did not approve. I could already see that they were trying to trap him when he was teaching. They would have liked to have got rid of him, but the crowds would demonstrate, they would turn nasty, for the ordinary person saw in him a real prophet. I decided that no matter my position at the synagogue, I would go up to that man Jesus and ask him to heal my daughter if it was not too late. My neighbors had told me that already Jesus had crossed to the other side by boat and that there was already a large crowd around him to listen to his teaching. So I went. I had to reach him, but since people knew who I was, they showed respect and allowed me to pass. When I reached Jesus, I fell at his feet and begged him with all my heart to save my little daughter. I said, "My daughter is desperately ill. Do come and lay your hand upon her so that she may be saved and live." He did not say anything, but he started walking to follow me. But the crowd was surrounding him on all sides and he could hardly move. And I kept thinking to myself, we must not delay. She could die any moment. Then something happened. I turned and looked back and I saw Jesus had stopped and he was looking all around. When I came to him, I heard him say,
"Who touched my clothes?"
I found it very strange because there were so many people all around him, pressing him and touching him all at the same time. His disciples told him exactly that, but he did not accept that as an answer. He said,
"Somebody touched me. I felt power coming out of me."
Then she came out of the crowds, a poor woman who had been sick for many years, people said. I shall not tell you her story now. She will do it herself some other time. But what I will tell you now is that time was passing and I was terribly worried. I could think of nothing else but my daughter, as I had left her with nearly no life in her. But the woman was talking with Jesus, and Jesus was listening as if he had completely forgotten about me and my sick child. It seemed as if it was going on for ages. At that time, Jesus looked at me and he started walking towards me. He had not forgotten after all. But at that moment, somebody had come from my home and said to me, "Your daughter has died. Do not trouble the master anymore." It was finished. It was too late. But Jesus had overheard the message I received. He said to me,
"Do not be afraid. Only have faith, and she will be saved."
How could he speak such things? Was it not all finished? She was dead. As we were walking to our house, I kept thinking to myself, if that sick woman had not delayed Jesus, my daughter would still be alive. When we reached home, we could hear the mourning and the lamentations. The flute players were there too, as was the custom. Jesus said,
Stop crying. She is not dead. She is only asleep.
The people laughed at him, knowing for sure that she was dead. But Jesus told everyone to get out of the room, including his disciples. Only 3 of them were allowed to go in with him: Peter, John, and James, together with my wife and myself. He did not want anybody else. Jesus went to where my daughter was lying. He took her by her hand. He simply said,
Child, get up.
So my daughter got up and started to walk. She was 12 years old at that time. Jesus turned to us and told us to give her some food. What an extraordinary man! And yet, he thought of something as food. What I felt that day, I cannot explain. I could feel that this man was not only a human being like you and me. His power had nothing to do with magic. It was like God himself had come to help us. Of course, the people were astonished. They were amazed. You can understand that. Nobody had ever seen such a thing like that. Somebody dead and coming back to life. And do you know what Jesus said to us before leaving? He spoke strict words to us, telling us not to speak about this to anybody. He did not want the wrong kind of publicity, I suppose. I myself am speaking to you today so that if ever you are in need, you'll know where to go.